Good morning, challengers. Day 2. Let's do this. Okay, so yesterday we covered a lot. We covered a lot in the morning, and I saw a lot of you posting about what you were doing and what you were adding, and I am so proud of you. It's awesome. I love seeing the interaction. I love seeing that you all took the challenge on and that you did it, that you're sharing it, and that's amazing. How do we feel? How do we feel after yesterday? I'd love to know that. I loved scrolling and seeing the pictures, especially of the planks, which is incredible. And I loved seeing so many of your faces on the masterclass last night. If you missed the masterclass yesterday that we did at 4 o'clock Pacific time, we did post it in the group. I know it's longer than these challenge videos. I highly recommend diving in and watching those. That's where I go deeper on things. I go a lot deeper. Tonight's won't be as long. I'm going to try to keep it shorter so that we can then do more question answers. But those master classes are everything. They take things to a whole new level. And then late last night, some of you saw I posted the relink and I asked what some of your takeaways are. So thank you for all of you participating. And the more we share back, by the way, the more that we share what we're learning, what we're breaking through, the more it sticks for us. Do you ever realize that, like, when you learn something and then you share it, you teach it to somebody else, it makes it stick for you longer? So feel free to share any of the information that I'm teaching you all during the masterclass and the challenge. Sharing is caring. So I love it. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. Today is day 2. If you haven't done day 1 yet, definitely take a look at that one as well, so you can combine them today if you didn't do day 1. But for day 2, we're going to build on it. So the way these will flow each morning, for those of you just jumping on the challenge, is every morning at 6 a.m. Pacific, I'm going to share 3 things for the day that are your mission, and they're going to touch on changing your state, planning your plate, which is nutrition, and then something with weight. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into that today. So today, for changing your state, I want to talk more about false assumed truths. So if you were on the Zoom last night, you heard me go deep into that. A false assumed truth, FAT, is the other kind of fat that we need to kill in order to achieve goals. So I kill fat for a living. Many of you hear me say that. And that's the fat on our bodies, but it's also those false assumed truths in our mind. It's those beliefs that we've made up, those thoughts that we hear all day long that keep us in a loop of what's not possible, So what that means is we have about 30,000 thoughts a day that go through our head, and we subconsciously are hearing that voice talk to us. So it's that voice that tells us not to go for something. It's that voice that tells us that we failed before. It's that voice that tells us it's too late, we're too old, we're big boned, we're genetically this, we're not smart enough. Anything that's telling us in our ear something that's not 100% true fact is a false assumed truth. So there's so many of those. And I went really deep on that last night on the masterclass. If you missed it, please check back to that. But what that means is these false assumed truths are in your gap. They're in the way of achieving great goals. So whatever I teach you during this challenge, if you've got that voice popping up telling you, hey, I did stuff before, it didn't work, or I'm doomed, or nothing works for me, or it's just, I know this is working for other people, but not me, that's a false assumed truth. And it's critical we start recognizing what that voice is so we can shift it. So today, for your first step in the challenge that you can do throughout the day, which I highly encourage, is to really dig into, what is that voice telling you? What is that voice telling you while you're doing the exercise today? What is that voice telling you when you're logging on to this group? What is that voice telling you throughout the day when you're thinking about what it is that you want for yourself? What is that voice telling you? And I'm going to encourage you to write that down and start telling a different story. So examples: I'm too old, it's too late, I'm injured, I have this diagnosis, I don't have the resources, whatever those things are, that voice that's popping up, false assumed truths, let's start killing those today. And the first step for that is recognizing that. What that means is, as you hear that voice today, you're gonna notice it. You're gonna notice it. You're not gonna argue with it, you're just gonna notice it and go, okay, that's interesting, that came up. That's interesting, that came up. Oh, another one. And then what that's going to mean is you're going to start seeing how many times it's interfering with your day. Journal them out, because the next step on those false assumed truths is to start creating a different story. We're going to start creating a different story. So for instance, if you're saying, I'm too old, or you're getting dressed and you're like, I don't look good, I'm never looking good, or whatever those things are, write it down and tell yourself the opposite. Write the opposite. So I'm not too old, I'm just getting started. I'm getting stronger. whatever that is. We're gonna start a list of those false assumed truths because I want you to hear those coming up and start rewriting a different story about those. That's step one. Okay, so false assumed truth, that's for the state. That's your exercise for today. Are we clear on that? Let me know if you have any questions on that about false assumed truths. We all have them, you guys. We all have them. I'll tell you, my false assumed truth this morning when I got up to do this live, for instance, was I set my alarm for 5, and my voice was, I'm not a morning person anymore, which that's just a false assumed truth. I used to be a morning person, and I was telling myself, I'm not a morning person. Why did I schedule them early? That's a false assumed truth. So we have them all day long. Notice them, start shifting them. The second thing, let's dive into nutrition today. I'm gonna give you, remember I promised simple, easy, fun task every day. So yesterday we went over the meal plan. We went over that we went deeper onto that in the nightly masterclass. So make sure you watch that if you haven't. If you're building your meals correctly, you should start to feel less cravings, less hunger, less bloated if you're building them correctly. So if you need support on that, please share here on this group today, like what you need support with, what you're eating, what you're feeling, so we can help you out with that. We're balancing protein, carbs, and fats. Today, what I want to focus on, this is your task. Remember, I said I'm going to give you easy things to focus on every day. Today, we're going to focus on adding in more water. I'm a big believer of what can we add in to make less room for the bad. So we're going to focus on addition, not what we can't have. So today it's water, and let me explain. Most of us are walking around, believe it or not, chronically dehydrated, but we think we're fatigued, foggy-headed, tired, hungry, whatever. But what it is we're chronically dehydrated. We're not drinking enough water. It makes a big difference when you start adding in a lot of water, not just appearance-wise, like your skin starts to change, for sure. You start glowing a little bit more. But what also happens when you drink more water is those cravings dissipate. We're not as tired. We're more focused. We have more energy. We stay full longer. We process our food faster. So many amazing benefits to drinking more water and adding more water. And believe it or not, if you are somebody that feels bloated a lot of times we're bloated because we're holding on to water because we are dehydrated. So it sounds counterintuitive, right? Like, I'm bloated, I don't need more water. The more water you drink, the more we release it. So today, your mission, are you ready for this? Is we're gonna add in 10 glasses of water, 10 full glasses of water, whatever your glass looks like, 10 glasses of water. The next question that usually comes up is, how much is too much? I'm not worried about that with you all. Drink water. I want to see how you feel tomorrow when you've added in more water. Now, the key is to all these tips. As I'm teaching them, we're going to build on them. So yesterday, what I shared with your meals, you're going to build on that with the water today. So we're adding in more water. We're getting hydrated today. What can you do if you don't like water? You can add lemon to it if you want. You can add some fruit to it if that's going to help make it taste. You can do sparkling water. You can do herbal tea. If it's decaffeinated, by the way, that counts as your water. And the reason I say decaffeinated is caffeine is fine, but it also dehydrates you. It dehydrates you. So what doesn't count is like diet sodas or real coffee or any of that. That does not count. So we want real water, sparkling water, regular water, herbal tea is fine, but we're gonna hydrate more today. That's the goal, okay? Now let's get into weights. So I'm gonna show you every day. I promise I would show you one move that you're gonna do for 5 minutes. Yesterday we did planks, and a lot of you didn't like that in the morning, but I loved seeing your pictures and seeing how you felt doing it, and you start to learn that 5 minutes can be super challenging, right? It can be super challenging. And what you probably noticed about the planks is it wasn't just your abs, you felt your whole body. Did you feel your whole body? If you were doing it right, you felt your whole body. It's a great move, and your back should feel really good from it too. So today what we're gonna be doing, you ready for this? Okay, remember you didn't love planks yesterday, but then you ended up liking them. Today what we're gonna do is wall sits, and they're gonna be a variation. Let me show you what this looks like. So you're gonna find a wall, any wall, let's see. Right here, let me show it to you first. I'm gonna squat down, and I'm holding. Just like that, boom. That's step one. That's step one. Step one is holding like this, okay? You're gonna feel this in your thighs, your glutes. If this is too hard, come up higher. Play with it. Where do you need to be? The lower you go, the more challenging it is. Step one, this, hold it. It's gonna burn, it's gonna burn. Remember, if you're a beginner, you start here. Okay, advanced, you come down. Boom, arms out in front. So you can keep your arms here, this makes it more challenging. Okay, how do we make that even more challenging for you, those of you going, that's easy, I got it. I'm gonna show you, okay? Next step, as you're holding it, arms behind you, up and down. up and down. Now, here's the key. When you go up and down like that, you can just move. That's not gonna do anything. I want you acting like you're holding weights. You're making resistance on your back and your shoulders. You're creating a challenge up and down. And feel it. You can do that right now while you're talking to me, just up and down. Feel the difference of just going here and then actually like making a muscle and making it work. Okay, so step 2 on these wall sits. We're here. The lower you go, the more challenging it is. Add your arms in, even more challenging. Get your back, get your shoulders. How's that feel? Okay, if that's still too easy, let me show you something. Ready? Watch this. I'm squatting here, arms here. I'm gonna hold a leg up. What? Hold a leg up. What? You can hold it, you can kick them. How long are we doing them today? Who knows? 5 minutes again, of course. 5 minutes because I want you to feel challenged. Do you have to do it all at one time? No. You can do 30 seconds at a time. You can do 10 seconds at a time. You could break it up throughout the day. 5 minutes wall sits. I want to see them. Take a picture of you doing it. Put it here for accountability. Put it on social media and hashtag the quick body or hashtag quick body reset challenge so I can find you and give you some love there. All right. That's your mission for today, you guys. You got this. You got it. And I will see you at 4 Pacific, which is 7 East Coast time. Same exact dial-in link as yesterday. Would love to see you. I've got some big stuff tonight to share with you. Can't wait to see you. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.